Welcome back to Type Over 40, your after show, before show and in between show from the Spacebook and through the Fandom Podcast Network's Type Over 40 at Doctor Who Podcast. If you've heard me there, you're seeing me here now. This is a follow-up video to something I did a couple of weeks ago, which people seem to like. I unopened a Blu-ray box set, if you remember. I feverishly got season 23 out of its wrapper. I've been shopping again. Nothing quite so elaborate as a box set this time, but it does come sealed, and it is a celebration all in itself. It's the Doctor Who magazine 40th birthday edition, which I'm sure some of you have seen. Shrink wrapped for your protection. Or for their protection, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it's. I thought it would be rude to let this occasion go without some sort of a mention. Doctor Who magazine's been in my life for a very, very long time, almost the full 40 years. In fact, I know, don't look old enough, do I? But yeah, I've been getting this for a very, very long time, through thick and thin, plenty of both. And yes, so I thought I'd open it all with you guys present. And yeah, you probably got yours already. You know exactly what I'm going to find inside, but I don't. I've seen a couple of pictures, but yeah, I thought I'd gather it myself. I have cheated a little this time because I used a scalpel to open my Blu-ray box set. But there is a bit of a trick to the trade with this. They do this sometimes with Doctor Who magazine, don't they? These weird sort of sticky, plasticky bags. Sometimes they use card envelopes, but this is sort of wrapped really tight around it. And of course, there's a tab at the bottom there. The temptation is the tip from the top. The temptation is to pull at that, obviously, because that's how they seal it together. That's how it'll pull apart. But of course, you may want to put the contents back inside. It can be a bit of a tricky customer, that. So what I do is I get my trusty scalpel and I do that. I give a little nick in the corner, and with a very steady hand, I pinch the back. Pinch the back like that, and I'm able to cut a really straight line with my scalpel, and I can open it all perfectly and drop them all back in. I know, I'm a terrible geek. Okay. Yeah, so let's get into it. Have a look, shall we? Firstly, the magazine itself. Glorious cover image there. This. I like it when they do this. If you remember, for Doctor Who's 30th anniversary, they did a celebratory cover with a big cut-out heart in the middle. I thought that worked really, really well. I suppose this is working to the same principle, really. It does exactly what it says on the tin, with the dates there, big 40. It surprised me, though, how their artwork, it's not anything particularly exclusive, is it? It's artwork they've obviously already created for previous issues, which is fine. I like a bit of nostalgia. I'm a Doctor Who fan, of course I like nostalgia. But yeah, it's a very particular choice, quite a cheap choice. But cheap and cheerful. Cheap's not always a bad thing, is it? But yeah, I can't help but notice here up close that the background image is the same artwork. I would imagine it's been created by you, Lead Binding, if you're out there, that wraps around those Blu-ray box sets, which I wasn't entirely sure about until I saw it up close. But you can see the asteroids and everything inside, so it's even more of a steal. There's an advert for the Lost Stories, a big finish on the reverse. I'm glad they're making more of the Lost Stories. And yeah, it seems around the same size as usual. The actual magazine, how many pages? 84 pages. In fact, they've dropped the page count a little. What else have we got here? We've got features. We've got all the showrunners, and what else is in here? Let's have a look. There's Russell T Davies there, the master of his domain. I know that Stephen Moffat's in here too. Sure enough, there he is, hanging around with a friend of mine, Rosie's. Has to watch that. I imagine Chris Chibnall's in here somewhere. Is he? Oh. A mercifully small picture of Chris Chibnall there, bless his heart. And yeah, it looks like plenty there to get my teeth into later on. Good stuff. I like it. I've still got the quotes on the spine. Yeah, very nice. What else have we got here? So I know there are things rattling around inside. It's hardly Christmas morning, is it? But we've got This is where I find out I haven't done as good a job as I thought. Oh, a second magazine. There we are. Yes, they've the index to the entire 40 years worth of Doctor Who magazine and related, associated, I was close, publications. Really nice idea. They've done this before as well. 25 years ago, excuse me, in the, yes, definitely 94, a little sort of breakaway and fold out document that was. Obviously there's a lot less to cover then, and oh, this looks, wow, okay, that is there's a lot of data in there. I would definitely not like to have been the copy reader who was checking that lot there. I suppose they did it all electronically, or did they even bother? I'm not sure. With the images of the covers running along the top, which is a nice touch, isn't it? I like it when they do that. Yeah. Oh, and they all the comic strips too, and oh, good stuff. Yeah, I think that will come in handy. When you've, I mean, I've got every issue of this thing, you know, and all the specials and stuff. But you do forget what's where, and particularly if you can get a digital copy of this. Maybe a digital copy that's interactive. I'm not quite sure how they've done it. I'll have to look into that. And but there is a very nice. Would you call that artwork? I think it could even be could be a screen grab. Oh, excuse me. It's yeah. The Citadel. Oh, is that this? No, that's not from the End of Time, is it? I can't remember quite where that is on Gallifrey. I don't think it's the actual capital, but it's very nice. Notice they don't use the word free anywhere on this pack. It's all plus and extra and this, that, and the other, and inside, because the cover price is $9.99, which it isn't cheap. It isn't. So one time they did used to say, "Oh, the free gifts," didn't they? That was always the thing with magazines. We have a leaflet materializing in 2019. Oh, that's well into that. It's going to have to hurry up. Yeah, we've got audiobooks from those from the BBC. Those on BBC, whatever that's called. I think it's just BBC Studios that make those, isn't it? BBC Worldwide. 300 titles. New ones released every month. Yeah, that's always good to try and keep track of. There's so many releases that come out. The Big Finisher output is huge. The BBC's themselves with all the audio readings of target books. You know, I can't keep track of them myself now. It's way too many. And this is the one, I think that's caused, this is the most mysterious of all, isn't it? The exclusive DVD. I was very eager to get my hands on because I didn't find out about it until about a week and a half ago. But when I did, you know, you think, oh, what on earth's going to be on that? And yeah, we've got, well, again, it's part of the Doctor Who, the collection, which of course that's those Blu-ray releases, which could account for why they've used the artwork on the front cover there. It's obviously a big tie-in. The contents are announcement trailers and extracts from box sets that have either already been out or that are coming very, very soon, and edited versions of some of those features that we've all enjoyed so much, including the forthcoming conversation with Sophie Aldred one on there. So that's, you know, I don't know if I'll watch that one. I kind of like to see them in their entirety. I resist all temptation. 100 minutes worth of Doctor Who on here. I would imagine that anybody who was going to commit to buying the Blu-rays would have done so by now, particularly in light of the fact that a great many of them aren't available anymore unless you want to spend silly money. So it's a strange item to put a promo out for, but hey, maybe if successive box sets sell more and more and more and more, they might be tempted to issue some new numbers of those early releases, particularly season 12, please. Still sticks in the throat, that one. There's an extra feature on this that we haven't seen, that nobody had seen until this magazine came out, which I gather was excluded from the season 18 Tom Baker set. What's it titled now? I can't. Messages from Space. There we are. Messages from Space. So yeah, I still don't know what actually that's about. Got a couple, I guess. Maybe it's something to do with the location work and that enormous radio telescope thingy. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that's it, or maybe it's something to do with audience feedback from around the time. Maybe it's the points of view, letters into the Radio Times about season 18. I don't know. You do. I don't. I'll find out later. Yeah, so that's it's better than Better kick in the, well, yeah, it's better than nothing, isn't it? It's not bad at all. Yeah, so, happy 40th birthday, Doctor Who magazine. I've genuinely, it's the backbone to my Doctor Who collection. I would imagine it is to a great deal of people's. It means a huge amount to me, that title, and you know, I've been a little vocal about it lately. It hasn't always been the easiest magazine to find over the last 3 or 4 months. I've made videos about it. I've spoken about it here, and the content has been a bit like that, hasn't it? But the last couple of issues, I think, have been better again. And I do believe that the fact that there's little season 11 content and coverage has been anywhere near the covers for months now. This hasn't gone unnoticed. And unlike the BBC itself, you know, they've got our license fees, whatever, they can do whatever with Doctor Who. With the licensed merchandise, obviously, they've still got to make it saleable. They've still got to attract people like you and I, as well as those ones that have maybe come to it fresh in the last couple of years. And yeah, I like the idea that they're dialing back a little bit on the sort of Doctor Who's Not For You Anymore thing, and aligning with the Blu-ray collection as that rolls out, because you know, it's the one item of merchandise we know without question is selling, you know, selling out. So it's a good move on the front of Doctor Who magazine, certainly. Yeah, huge thanks to well, who's the editor now? It's Marcus Hearn. Is it Marcus Hearn and Emily Cook, who are the main editorial team? But I, you know, still do love the magazine. I do hope it continues. A lot of people consume it digitally now, don't they? I don't, not yet. Never say never, though, because obviously it does take up a lot of space. The Doctor Who magazine collection, stretching back 40 years, is bound to take up a lot of space in even the average home. Mine's no exception. So I thought you'd like to see this here, because I've been up the stairs and I've got this crate here. This crate, I've had the crate for 30 years, but this contains the first 100 issues of Doctor Who magazine. There's Colin and Nicola there, inquisitive on the cover. And yeah, I've got them all. They're all polybagged inside. Easy to get at. I've bagged them up sometime in the mid-90s, funny enough, around the time that original guide came out. So they're there when I want them, and if not fresh as a daisy, then they're certainly as fresh as they were in the mid-90s. But yeah, I was stretching back to 1979 when Des Skin, Jeremy Bentham, Dave Gibbons, all those people who were involved right from the beginning of Doctor Who magazine, when it was Doctor Who Weekly. I've been able to poke through into there, and I thought you might like to see some of the things that I've dug out at the very first issue of Doctor Who Weekly, as it was then. No, I haven't got the transfers. I know there's people out there who have. I didn't buy this when it came out. I'm not going to lie to you. I got this. Well, I paid 50p for it. I'll tell you that. It's on the back. But I got it several years later, probably in the late 80s. In a big pile of them at a second-hand bookshop or a market or something, when they were, or when people who'd had them for years originally were just throwing them out. But yeah, I've never seen one with the transfers intact. If you've got one, then by all means send us a picture, drop it in the comments below, and have a good gloat. But I'm not sure what I'd have done. I'd probably have put them on my arm, if I'm honest. That's what I used to do with transfers back then. Put them all up my arm and then not wash it for a week, or as long as I could get away with not washing my arm for a week until it went all crackly and sort of peeled its way off. That's what we tended to do with transfers when we were kids. But yeah, it's sort of, even though it's like the crudest cover imaginable, isn't it? It's become a bit of a classic in its own right, I think. Now, I've worked on these publications. I know they're not in the digital age, when they used to put them together in the old-fashioned way. Yeah, not as easy as it looks. But yeah, that's the first issue, and of course, like any true geek, I have got a second copy here. I found this a little while later. I mean, this is held together with bits of sellotape. This thing, so it's my reading copy. You know, so I can have a good look through. But those transfers I was telling you about there, that's the only time I've ever seen them. Somebody's done a beautiful job there of putting them into the freeze. It's very imaginative. And yeah, you got that fantastic Dave Gibbons comic strip there that started it all off, Doctor Who and the Iron Legion, because it had only been a short time that Doctor Who had wrapped up with TV comic, where it had been for about 15 years as a regular feature through TV comic, and getting dwindling sales and dwindling standards of artwork in that. But to come into this title, to get Dave Gibbons, who it's early in his career, years before he worked on The Watchmen, but the artwork is just incredible standard, beautiful artwork. I own about 5 different editions of the Iron Legion. Maybe you do too. This feature there, a letter from the Doctor. I gather they do that again sometimes too, and always the same Doctor's signature. It's so charming, this feature on the Daleks. It's very much sort of entry level stuff. And they used to run out other comic strips there. War of the Worlds adaptation from, I think that probably would have been from Marvel. I haven't really checked into it, but I would imagine it would have been. Yeah, there's all sorts. The story of Doctor Who. Yes, it's sort of thin stuff compared to what we're used to now, but it was aimed at a different market. Of course, it was 12p a week, aimed at school kids, really, like any comic was, and featured about what were the dim and distant Doctor Who past. Now, I didn't buy that at the time. As I said, I got it several years later, but I wasn't too far behind. This was the very first issue that I ever bought, Doctor Who Weekly, issue number 13, and it's still a bit of a favourite cover of mine too. Apart from the fact that you can't see Mary Tam, which is a travesty, a beautiful woman, but you can see this competition there to win a camera. Things like that always make me smile, not just because of the old tech, but it's also quaint, isn't it? You would enter a competition like that in a comic or a magazine to win something that's not particularly related to the title you've bought. You wouldn't get that now. But it's TV's #1 hero. Yeah, remember, still TV's #1 hero. Even if he's not on TV, he's TV's #1 hero. But yeah, I love this. And if you see at the corner, you can see in the purple banding there, I have written my name. When I was, how old was I? I would have been 7. Slightly less than 7, but yeah, that was the first issue I ever had. My granddad bought that for me. It's his fault. And it sat for a long time, just in a pile of unrelated comics, all different comics that I collected over around the same time, because I just lumped them all together. And I didn't get to choose sometimes. Granddad would just go and pick something up and bring it round to me afterwards. But I'd amass what Doctor Who I could. This the first monthly issue that came less than a year afterwards, issue number 44. Is that I'm trying to read off my screen there? Issue number 44 in the September. It didn't stay weekly for very long before I adopted this, and you've still got the old logo, of course. Now, I didn't buy that not new either. No, I didn't. Now I came to it just a couple of months later. This would get anybody's attention, wouldn't it? Bright yellow with that's just Tom. Bright yellow. But the idea that you could win, because by that time they'd just changed the series. That's obviously hence the change of logo, and you could win the brand new Doctor Who theme there as a single. I found that an incredibly attractive prospect, and I entered the competition. I didn't win, of course. I didn't. I had to wait a couple of years to get that too. But yeah, that was my first monthly issue. Again, I've written my name at the bottom there. Bless his heart. I love the adverts as much as the magazines. That the green cross code on the back there with Dave Prowse. Beautiful stuff. The next issue, this was issue number 47, the month after. So I was starting to find this regularly now. But the reason why I leapt on this is this feature about the 3 Doctors, and it was all connected to the anniversary. So this would have been the 17th anniversary of Doctor Who itself. And inside there was a sort of pull-out section in the middle, which listed all the stories. And I'd totally forgotten about it until I went through the box and picked these out, because it was that. I always thought it was the Doctor Who programme guide that had been my first experience, shall we say, of lists and things of Doctor Who past. But it wasn't. It was this. And this was around the time that the 5 Faces of Doctor Who, I think, was about to come on. It just fascinated me. Just opens the door that little bit wider on Doctor Who's past, to the point where you become obsessed and end up speaking about it on YouTube 40 years later. But yeah, where it really got me was as the Peter Davison era rolled out, and I became mildly obsessed with the show, and I felt like I got my Doctor at last, and got to know the characters so well. Everything just felt so new and so fresh. And when I saw the first Peter Davison cover there, you know, I had to have that. This is I probably know every single page of this. It's burnt into my retina. But by that time, the price had gone up to 55p per month. But and I think I was probably the point. I certainly couldn't read it all. I couldn't take it all in, because there's plenty of articles there, from Death to the Daleks. There's lots of Doctor Who past, Pair of the Daleks, Season Survey, all that sort of thing. But it's that image of Peter Dave, my Doctor. I tried to make an effort from that point to get it every month, but it was next to impossible to guarantee that. And it would be probably around, I think it would have been the late 80s where I filled the gaps in my collection. And I never really felt like I was a true Doctor Who fan until I got a complete collection of Doctor Who magazine up to that point. Now, I know a lot's changed in the intervening time, and people don't feel the same way as I used to about magazines and comics and things, because I've got a big comic collection too. People don't feel the same way about this stuff, and we know how much house space it takes up. There is something very special about Doctor Who magazine, and this is another one I'm very fond of there, just to finish off. This is issue number 73. Yes, 73. This isn't my original edition, because I destroyed the sticker. I used the sticker as the free sticker, which I've always loved, of David Gibbons, Peter Davison likeness there. But that's probably one of the ones I'm most fond of, so just because of the sticker, really, and because there's an image from a story that I really, really love too, from Snake Dance. That's Doctor Who magazine, the first 100 issues, within a nutshell, really, and my connection to it. It wasn't long after that I insisted on a standing order, what they call a standing order now, at my local newsagent. And at first, I don't think they realised. They realised quite how badly. When I said I didn't want to miss an issue of this magazine, I really wasn't going to miss an issue of this magazine. And my mother certainly didn't get it at all. The urgency about it, because they used to let you know when the next one was going to be out, didn't they? And it's in the back. It's out on this date. So say, look out for it if you see it in the shop. But no. If you want a job doing, do it yourself. So, the old ones, the best ones. If you love Doctor Who magazine, if you're having a bit of a sort of nostalgia fest lately about it, join in by all means. Drop some comments underneath and let me know what your first issue was and what you think of the magazine now, and just share your memories in general. Really geek out with me anytime. Do the old like if you've enjoyed this video. Hit the like. Hit it anyway, just because I'm a nice guy. I'm doing my best here. Come on. Hit the like. Subscribe if you like. We've had a lot of new subscribers lately, to which I'm very, very grateful to anybody who's finding the time to just spend this time with me and listen to all this. Like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever you will. There'll be more coming up later in the week. Don't doubt that. Might just be with me again. I'm not entirely sure. We've got various people who would plan on dropping by. Simon Horton, Sarah, the starry-eyed girl Graham, Adam O'Brien. Adam's threatening to drop in for a chat, but we'll see. We'll see what we can find the time for. There'll be more content coming as we get used to all this. Glad you're enjoying it. Thank you again for your time. Bye-bye.